Hello everyone. Good morning. At the moment it's Wednesday morning here at my location. Um, and today I'm going to give a little presentation for a group of people regarding the AI community or for the AI community, where I will be talking about the concept of is AI taking over and what I personally see the future moving towards, which is a very interesting topic in itself. Um, and the main thing underneath it is, I was just thinking about what other people expect me to say in that situation, if they perceive that to be true or not true, whatever like pops in my mind. And this is a nice realization that I have. Quite recently, I started talking my mind, like truly talking my mind without that fear of this could be right or this could be wrong. I've got no idea. The only thing that I'm exploring is this the thing that I am truly understanding or believing? Believe is such a relative word, but is this something that I am knowing? And that concept of I am knowing is a very strong one because it is I am knowing based on my understanding upon the world. I've created many videos so far where I talk about all the combination of spiritual mindset, the soul, the body, the frequencies, what does it mean? How does it all like connect together? And it's quite nice to be in that state of just speaking your mind without that feeling of someone might say that you're incorrect. And if that happens, to be honest, it doesn't happen anymore with people that I have around me. Um, in the off chance, someone would say to me, that might be something that you believe, but that's not something that I believe. And that creates, if someone says that to me, as in, oh, that's an interesting one. What do you believe? As in truly being curious, because on the one hand, I could learn from their perspective, something that they have seen, that they have experienced in life in comparison to what I'm experiencing. So, like, I could learn from that. The other benefit is they truly feel heard. It's not actually a battle about who's right or who's believing what, or I'm part of this group and you're part of this group, and we believe this certain thing and I believe this certain thing, and now you're as a polarization from each other. But actually, having that conversation with that other person is that's growth. Like being open and having that conversation together, that is growth. That's mental, spiritual, intellectual growth. Good. So I was thinking about this AI conversation that I'm going to have at 4 p.m. Central European time, summertime now. And I was thinking about how do I see the AI world moving? As in, what do I see happening? And that's a very interesting one because it's the look. I could be mistaken. Like me personally, I'm not afraid of AI that it's taking over jobs or stuff like that. But I'm only leaning into self-development more and more, and I'm using AI because of that. And I'm experiencing new levels of being for myself, like unlocking new levels and experiencing that. Like many people right now are using the AI for, which is a very interesting one, for well, creating images and videos and like the creative stuff. I'm like, yeah, could be, no problem. Do you know what I use it for? Like, I know this is a large language model. So it has all of the information till certain points, and it bases his next word comparison to the previous words that he already saw. So it's just iteration. Same goes for how we speak. Because it's barely that we really understand what we're talking about. Like, for real. Um, and it is that idea of, yeah, what I use it for example, when I want to give someone feedback, I did that a couple of months ago for a certain service or coaching that they did towards me or do something else. Then I'm just writing it down in the document itself, in the ChatGPT, and then I'm asking it to rewrite it in a non-violent communication way, communicative way, to really make it well actionable in a certain way for the other person, so that other person can feel heard, seen, understands the struggle that I've experienced, and then having that without any judgment as an action plan for improvement. Like that's how I do it. But also just me wanting to text a group of people as in, hey guys, this is the idea that I have. Who's interested in this one? Like it will be filtered through my ChatGPT first, as in rewrite this program for a chat group for this and this, and I want it to sound like this and this and this and this, and then write my comments about that. It will come up with the answer, and then it will like clarify the way that it speaks with the words that it's saying, with the grammar, with the language model itself, so the build up of the sentences. Like as an electrical engineer, I like language wasn't my strong suit ever. I really didn't practice it. I was the kind of guy that saw a spelling mistake and was like, yeah, yeah, but you know what I mean. Or a grammar mistake, as in, yeah, yeah, but you understand. And that kind of led me into being, it's not really lazy, but um, like pulling it aside, so not actually actively practicing it. And the more and more that you're growing professionally with more professional people around you, then you start noticing that that communication line becomes more and more and more important. Because in a certain way, the only thing that is not the only thing, but one of the big things that's connecting us is our way of communication towards each other. That includes, of course, like the facial expressions, but also the words that you're saying. And the more and more complex that my interactions became, the more and more I started to struggle. And that's where the large language model came in, which really helped me take it up a notch for my own personal growth, for my own being, for my own understanding. And combining that directly with the second brain methodology, like understanding those levels, like documenting my ideas, actions, information in an external system, so I can be fully present in the here and the now with you guys, so I can fully let go of my resistance of, do I actually know stuff, or what do I need to do in an hour or in 15 minutes or stuff like that. It's it's calming the whole system down massively. That's also why I'm a very, very big advocate of externalizing a system, of the PKS, personal knowledge management system. And it's like now the company name that I'm working as is called AIM. So that is Action, Information, and Insight Management. So these are kind of like the pillars of understanding the second brain. So within that methodology, I'm offering those services. And the other thing that I thought about, it could be a year ago almost now, almost a year ago. That's a company name or brand, however you want to call it. That's actually called I2EQ. So letter I, the number 2, EQ. And that includes the intellectual coefficient, so the IQ, towards EQ, to the emotional coefficient. And then the challenge is it's not just emotions of you feeling happy and love and enjoy like that. It's not just like logic and feeling and just separating all kind of, but it's not a feel good idea, not specifically, but it's that journey into disconnecting our value in a certain way, or our focus. It's even focus, it's not even value. Our focus upon the disconnecting our value, our focus upon the intellectual, so our logic, how much that we know, how much that we understand, and switching that towards the emotional coefficient, to tuning into our body and truly listening to, hey, what's going on here? What do I feel? Like, what kind of pains do I have in my body? What kind of struggles am I feeling? So that could be like that emotional reaction that you have, because, or even like physical illnesses. Joe Dispenza is a very big one in that realm, and it's the it's going towards that emotional coefficient, and in something that David Hawkins talks about with his map of consciousness. Like for me, that map of consciousness was that connection, especially Power versus Force, one of his books. That was that connection from my understanding about this technical, electrical, magnetic field of the world in which that I understand it as an electrical engineer, as an educated as an electrical engineer, to that emotional layer of how does the body experiences those frequencies, those vibrations into emotional beings. Because a lot of us, let me say it differently, in the spiritual world, it's quite often said as in, hey, that's a high vibrating person. Like, it's, yeah, how do they say it? But it's that state of high vibration in a certain way. And I really didn't understand it for like years, for like 15, 20 years that I've been hearing it. Like, what exactly does that mean? And what, like, I'm being humble, and well, I didn't do it all the time, but I started asking questions more and more, as in, what exactly does it mean? And a lot of the people in this world like, don't even know, like consciously, like having that opportunity to explain that to someone else. And even I have very much trouble with it. But that map of consciousness really explained to me regarding that our body is actually made out of frequencies, or at least a certain substance of atoms, and that's vibrating at a certain level. And the lower vibrational movements that you have, the more that you feel down. Like a physical object has also lower frequency movements comparison to a fluid, or comparison to the air itself. Same goes for our body. It also contains of different states that we call like the solid one, the fluid ones, and then the air. The air is not the correct word, but there is another word for that state. Um, and within that map of consciousness idea, David Hawkins mapped out the lower levels, like all of those different states, towards something that he calls enlightenment, and that is that maximum high vibrational state of emotions, where you can, in a certain way, transcend your physical being and experience your soul, your observer, for something that's way bigger in comparison to just yourself. So that like all came together for me, which is very valuable in combination with, of course, the second brain. Like I do focus myself right now on it's partially teaching, it's partially the business, but I'm not that skilled at the business side for this specific one. So I'm learning that at this moment. I'm growing there. And yeah, so all in all, like the AI, I'm really not afraid of it because it will help us to shift from that IQ to EQ, to recognize our feeling as in, hey, we're not actually our intellect, but we're something else. It will stir up massively upon the world because currently our um, money streams, our value is being uh, put on the intellectual ones instead of the emotional ones, emotional, powerful ones. But I slowly see a change coming upon that. And especially if you can harness both of those skills and having that emotional control and having that intellectual control available. Hmm, what a world it is. Like I'm so grateful for the internet. Like having the opportunity to live stream. Like right now I'm live on YouTube. Like people can see this live and later on recorded as well. Like it's so amazing. I'm 31 years old, so I kind of um, went through that time where you still had that tune of the telephone when you're interneting, like so funny. I'll look it up somewhere for my younger audience. Um, and I've kind of like grew over all of those steps, as in what kind of development have we experienced, which is quite fun because the the older generation that I was speaking with in the past, like 15 years ago, they're like, yeah, but we like experienced the growth of the computer. Yay! And it's quite funny that I'm now mentioning the same thing for the internet, the growth of the internet, in comparison to the capabilities and now the AI coming up. Well, LLM, let's actually stop calling it an AI because it isn't. It is not an artificial intelligence. It is a large language model. It's way different. It really reduces the stress. But on top of that, um, yeah, let me tune into my storyline again. Hmm. Yeah, so that growth of the AI, or at least the technology wise, that communication wise, and I'm looking outside here and I'm seeing people just going about their normal day-to-day lives, their normal physical lives. Let me say differently, like yeah, physical lives. Um, I know it's like how grateful that I am that I'm able to do this openly, having this with no fear of repercussions, like feeling free to speak up my truth. If someone listens or not, or agrees with it or not, it's totally fine. And it's that state of, this is very helpful for me to experience my own thoughts and my own vision. And it's yeah. Yesterday I had an amazing conversation with someone new as well via Discord, which was really great to saw his state and how he's growing and how he's focusing on the good, which is a very amazing thing to see because I recognize myself in that state in the past as well. So it's quite nice to see in a certain way the previous version of yourself. Yeah, so that's quite nice. And where I kind of wanted to start this story on with, like a lot of us are trying to give a presentation, for example, for a group of people, but they don't know what to say or if what they are saying if that's being landed by the audience, if that's being accepted by the audience. And I'm doing more and more interviews right now, like public ones, recorded, live ones, totally fine. I haven't done a physical one. Well, I have, like, but only one bigger one for 20 people, something like that, 20, 25 people. Um, and it is that as long as I am exploring my own thoughts, then there's nothing able to go wrong. And it's just me having my thoughts. And that's such a powerful one to lean into that one. To give you that free realm of, or that free reign of, please talk to me, have that conversation. What's going on? What are you struggling with? What are you facing? What are you admiring? What's your next step? What's your goal? And yeah, it's such an amazing journey. And then that includes like speakers of, oh, I really love the guy, Jordan Peterson. And 5 years ago, I was so mesmerized by the skill that he was speaking in, by the words that he was saying. Like, wow, that he could like talk like that and remember that much and understand that much. And now I'm feeling like that I'm growing into that state. Of course, not with the popularity that he has been collected. Everyone knows the guy now. But it's in that state of, yeah, I don't know, just being in that grateful state for having that opportunity, to having that skill for computer work. Like, if you haven't had any, like, do some computer work. Like, let's lean into the basics. What's going on where? What's going on? It's so important. Like, this is actually like the computer, like with the internet and the skills. This is your superpower. Because someone with a computer or someone without a computer is, it's 100x, it's 1000x, 10,000x comparison to the value that we're doing. And especially if you're growing upon that, as in, okay, what can I improve? What can I automate? What can I make easier? Okay, like if programming, for example, is something that you're not skilled at, that you feel directly as, no, I'm not a programmer. I understand because there were some old ideas of what programming is. Like actually in C, bare knuckle coding, nothing like that. And whenever you speak with someone and he mentioned as he's a programmer, then you're like, yeah, but I really don't want to be in that state. So I understand the negative association with that word, but it's tuning into yourself as in, okay, what's holding me back to actually automate my stuff? What is programming? What does it mean? Because programming is basically just communicating with the computer. That's it. And the more and more skilled that you've become with that skill, the better it becomes. And nowadays, everything becomes way easier because Notion, for example, is a no-code coding platform. So it has its buttons and options and choose. You don't need to program anymore. You just need to select your vision and your creation. Same goes just for the mouse and the keyboard. Like that's also in a certain way just programming because you're communicating this with the computer. And really leaning into that is very powerful. Like really do it. And at the same time, I can imagine if you're struggling with, that's why I really love the life book as well. As in, if you're struggling with health, focus, intellectual things, like belief, like second guessing, like everyone who is currently watching the video or who is going to do that in the future, it is your value is so amazing because you're at that level of consciousness of growth or potential or you choosing where you can focus upon and create your, it's unbelievable the level of manifestation that you can add upon the world. And it is the challenge to really focus on that spiritual growth, which means in a certain way, the way that I see it, as going within and letting go of the resistances of what we call the body. Like letting go of the memories. Let's call them memories instead of traumas. Let go of the memories. If something happens and you're feeling that anger response or that fear response, then tuning in. Ooh, what's going on? And lean into that one emotionally. Good. I'll be slowly closing it off. Thank you very much and enjoy your day. Bye bye.